Nave cohort, it is Saturday, which means that it is time for Pilum Teaches DCS, where we go up and show off some features about the game, talk about different systems for different types of aircraft, and really kind of hone in on talking through how some things work, provide a little bit of historical context here and there where we can, and carry on with having some fun. Today we have some interesting things up. We're going to be revisiting some older stuff that we've done before, but it's a new day, so here we are. We're going to be working with the RWR handoff mode in the F-4 Phantom, and we're going to be doing some air-to-air work in the specific against like the MiG-23 and MiG-21. And when we're done with all of that, we'll jump back into the F-14A early on the same mission, and we will do some of that too and show off its RWR system and talk through some of the specifics about the older model stuff. So let's go ahead and get over to the jet, and we'll do our walk around, and we will be ready to rock and roll. All right, so we have our Phantom. This time we're in a West German Westphalia livery. Kind of like this particular camouflage pattern, very deserty, kind of nice. But let's get right to it here. On the outer pylons, we have fuel tanks on either side. On the inner pylons, of course, we have our countermeasures and a pair of AIM-9Ms each. And in the tunnel, we are carrying 4 Sparrow Ms with nothing on the center line. Very basic air-to-air loadout. Gives us some staying power there in terms of our overall being up in the air and not needing to refuel, getting the work done sort of situation. We are using the map that we built on Monday. The only changes that I've made to it since then was I created a zone kind of very clearly here with the map drawing tool. That is the respawn zone for the aircraft, so that way, you know, you're out here, you're fighting inside your dogfight circle for the combat search radius. Shoot down the aircraft, they don't immediately just spawn in and come in when you're like 20 miles away. You do have to come back to the space over Hatay, and then that will satisfy the conditions to spawn the next aircraft. It is a hot start, so we're going to go ahead and take off and start cruising towards the zone. And we'll talk a little bit about the RWR system and how handoff mode in particular works.
This time. Magic 1-1, passing waypoint 1 at 25,000. Magic 1-1, on station at bullseye 340 for 90 at 25,000.
Trim is set. Oxygen's configured.
Thomas. Are we going downtown? Yep.
Navigation, radio, IFF. Okay. Spoilers and flaps are down and up. Let's go and throttle up.
Engine's good. Airspeed's coming alive. 80 knots. Speed 100. Oh, I'm showing nails. 11 o'clock. Gears moving. Flaps up. Gear up.
Alright, as we take off and turn back around for our zone. Of course, we are talking about this RWR system here on the right, and in particular this handoff mode. In particular, what handoff mode does is it will hyperfixate the RWR onto a single active radar return. So you do have to have somebody on the RWR searching for you, or at least emitting a radar of some kind, to make use of handoff mode. But what that will allow you to do is to go ahead and listen to that PRF, at least the interpreted signal, through the system, and it will provide for you a tone and pitch based on the incoming radar emissions from that source. So, for example, we just had our new guy beep, which beeps at the PRF of the expected target, or source. It's a more appropriate term. But then it stops making noise as it's continuing to search, and as long as it still sees that same contact there, it's not going to fret too hard about it. But if I engage handoff mode, it provides a continuous beep at the PRF of the search. And in this case, this is an AWACS that we're listening to. And we can verify that by checking the map here. And we can see that the RWR is off of our right wing, which is down this direction. And lo and behold, there's an E3 Sentry right down there. Now, the minor modulations that we can hear is the radome actually swinging around, and as it illuminates the aircraft more directly is when we get that higher pitch noise or louder noise. For the F4, I've actually gone as far as binding a control to the handoff button, so we're going to be making use of that. If we had more than one contact up, we could tap the button once to go into handoff mode and then press and hold the button to cycle between targets until we find the one that we actually want to listen to. This is going to be important for what we're doing because I'm going to go ahead and spawn in a solo MiG-23.
Nails on our nose, 12 o'clock.
Alright, so we heard the little new guy beep, and we're going to go handoff. Now we're listening to his radar in search mode. We know it's in search mode because it's a lower pitch compared to the active, I'm trying to kill you mode. But if I press and hold handoff, it will toggle over to the next one and puts a diamond around the next target. And as long as I'm holding the button down, it will continue to cycle through targets until I let it go. Now, the most important thing with some of this is that you will still get like new guy beeps, and I believe you should get alerts for threats like another missile system that the RWR can actually see and identify has shot at you. But there are some SAM systems for the F4. I'm going to turn that off here for now. There are some SAM systems for the F4 which do not register a launch impulse on the RWR system, like the SA-5. The only way to tell if it has shot at you is to listen for that change in pulse frequency through handoff. And when it increases, you know that you're starting to race the lock to launch timer on it, which for the SA-5 system is a little long at like 30-45 seconds. So it does take it a minute before it can start shooting at you. But other aircraft, especially the newer model aircraft like MiG-23, MiG-29, they provide no launch warning even when firing a semi-active radar missile at the F4. So the only way to tell that he has shot at me is to make use of handoff mode. So it's going to be a very important defensive tool for us to know when we need to maneuver versus that R-24. Like right now, he's 90 miles away. He is well outside of his range. So this is a good time to go ahead and toggle handoff mode on and just listen to his search PRF, or pulse repeating frequency, repetition frequency. At 90 nautical miles, even if he is looking for us right now, that is well outside of reach, and so we're listening to the search of the radar. As we get closer, that will transition over to a higher pitch noise, usually about an octave higher, sometimes more. And that tells us that he has locked us and intends to shoot. The odds are pretty good that we are not going to be able to see him on the radar until he shoots at us. Mostly because Jester just can't seem to find a MiG-23 despite being head-on and producing more Doppler than sense. But we will track him down. So, advantage is obviously with handoff, we are literally looking at the raw data coming in, so we know what mode his radar is looking in based on what pitch that sound is coming in on. Every aircraft type makes its own pitch noise. He's 50 miles away now. It's slightly right, so we'll turn to try and meet him a little bit.
I have a new bogey, right 5, 40 miles.
Oh my God, he saw him. We might be able to get the first shot.
On that bogey, that's a hostile. Copy.
Jester start following him down.
Roger that.
And he didn't, because you can't see him anymore. When he does an IFF sweep, he's actually going to show up on combat tree for us, which will be a single bar line indicating a hostile contact. But as we're watching on this RWR, he's getting into the inner threat ring. He's getting much closer now. He's crossed definitely like 20 miles. We should be hearing him switch PRF frequencies here soon.
Locking Bandit, right 515 miles. Locked 1,000.
He's definitely shot at us. That's the change in PRF.
1,000 shoot.
We are just going to go defensive.
I lost lock. Returning to regular scan.
You can see where it gives you a very short new guy beep as he transitions between radar modes. And we might even be able to see the missile launch. That smoke plume is still out there. I'm gonna climb up here, see if I can bait him to shoot again. Okay. We've got him to waste his 2 long missiles. Now I just need to worry about the R-60s.
Missile, 11 o'clock.
Alright, let's pick him up. As the fight is on. We're gonna come around on him here, hopefully. He's a lot more maneuverable than we are, especially in the low to mid-speed range.
We have a bandit. Slugger, 12 o'clock. 1 mile.
Okay, 1 mile. We picked him up immediately. Our speed looking about 300 knots. Let's get rid of the bags. Go level here so we can pick up some newer speed so we can get some better turn out of it.
Six o'clock now.
Oh, we're not getting the performance we need out of this. That damage. And she's getting a lot harder to control. Yeah, we're leaking fuel very, very bad. We will probably have to reset to try and take him on again. But when we go back to look at tech view on that one later, we should see that he fired both R-24s at us, and we were able to detect that shot. Oh, that hit us right in the spine. Okay, good show from him. We'll get back to doing some dogfighting work in the F4 against a more suitable target for it, because the 23 is a little bit challenging to deal with in the F4, especially since I've got to wait on him to do his thing and shoot at us first. So let's go ahead and change aircraft real quick. We'll do a little bit of work with the F-14 and its RWR system and talk about some of its differences. And we'll jump in with the Phantom again and do some battle with some MiG-21s. All right, so we have our F-14A 135 early. Is a hot start. Just verifying that we've got everything turned on. We've got our oxygen, TACAN. Right, we're going to go ahead and spawn the same aircraft group, so MiG-23 solo. In practicing with all of this one against this this MiG-23 and really working the handoff system on the RWR, I've managed to kill that jet about half the time. But he is a little more fast in the straightaway, and he's a little better able to turn thanks to those variable wings. He's a little bit of a challenge to deal with in the Phantom. Okay, let's go ahead and put the wings forward. Set the wings, go to wings auto. Drop our flaps. Pause briefly as we'll do a walk around in this aircraft. This is our F-14A 135 early, which does not have a whole lot of functional differences between it and the 135 late. Heat blur does give you all of the different weapon stations and everything else that you can utilize. Today we're going up with a very classic Cold War loadout with sidewinders on the outermost glove station, Sparrows on the inner glove station, fuel tanks, pair of Phoenixes forward, and a single Sparrow in the trench. Functionally, the biggest difference that you're going to see front or back seat is the presence of the older RWR system. I believe it's an ALR 45 we have in there. I could be mistaken, and that's okay, but it operates by being set to this lower switch on your HSD display, which can be toggled to the TID repeater or the nav mode. That is the ECM toggle lever there, which is why in later mark variants of the F-14 that does nothing, is because that's been removed and replaced with a different RWR system that is on a permanent display. If you have this set up for any of the other modes and the override is on, it will toggle back to the RWR display anytime it detects any kind of radar emission, which in this case we've got a strong beaming line coming from just front left off the nose, which if we come out here to Incirlik, front left off the nose, it's either going to be, you know, the carrier group that's out there or more likely the AWACS. And since it is displaying A1, it's an airborne radar rather than a SAM or AAA or anything else like that. So having the bypass switch set to override for ECM is helpful if you are in any other mode to be able to see that something is looking at you. We'll go and we'll take this up, and we'll go against our adversary there.
All right, I got nails, 8 o'clock.
I'm going to turn the bypass off for now so I can use the steering in the HSD.
Heads up, nails, 12 o'clock.
And we'll just climb out and start heading towards the combat area. We will give you new guy beeps pretty much all the time. But the lines are basically showing you what kinds of threats it is seeing in terms of how much radar energy is being directed at your aircraft. And it will tell you very loosely in the bottom left and right hand corners what sort of system is looking at you. That said, it is even less detailed than the F-4's RWR system. As it will really only tell you high SAM, mid SAM, low SAM, and, you know, AAA. Airborne intercept, and unknown. And unknown is too broad of a category to be useful depending upon where it is you're fighting. So in this case we've got the strong beam there that's coming off the AWACS, and every time the AWACS radar is directly looking at us, that line stretches all the way out. Similar to the PRF that we were hearing in the F4. And we can see we've got another RWR contact somewhere out there off the nose, which is going to be our playmate du jour in the form of that MiG-23. Just gonna get myself situated here back in my chair. And we'll check in with the AWACS.
Magic 1-1, in field 1, request bogey dope.
Bandit, 120, 73 miles.
All right, that's our friend. We can kind of see his little search line pulsing there for him as his radar is looking around. And the only things that we can detect right now are airborne intercept, which is why it says A1. So it lets you know that it is at least an airborne source. But, for example, if I was flying with other F-14s, I would not be able to determine that, you know, the sources that are beside or behind me are other Tomcats. It would just list it as an airborne intercept. It has zero ability to distinguish what specific radars are out there, only broad categories. I'm going to spike this guy.
Got lock. Target, 54 miles.
My intent is to go ahead and push all the way to Sparrow range for him. We can hopefully hear him begin to try and track us.
Target, 48 miles.
Since I know I'm going to be going into the dogfight, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Sidewinder cooling so I can get those missiles ready. Tomcat is one of the aircraft that models the finite nature of the cooling gases and things that are included in the missile or embedded in the wingtip rail or contained in a bottle that's attached to the wing that's attached to the missile. And if you let that go for too long,
33 miles.
it will run out of cooling juice and then the missile will be dead on the rail. I'm very dependent on Jester for communicating to me what he's looking at.
Target, 39 miles.
As I don't have access to the TID repeater while I'm being lit up by any kind of a radar. So did his fall off? It's interesting. He might not be nose hot to us right now.
Target, 34 miles.
Let's go and fly our T for the intercept.
Target, 31 miles.
31 miles away, you're being looked at by an F-14's radar, buddy. You should probably attack like you did with the F-4.
Target, 27 miles.
Don't know what his plan is here exactly.
Target, 25 miles.
He might be trying to square up now.
Target, 23 miles.
What's he doing? It's almost 20 miles out. That's like maximum range for his weapon system.
Target, 19 miles.
Still not looking at us.
That's a flogger. All right, nails, 5 o'clock. Target, 13 miles.
Okay, Fox 1.
Target, 7 miles. Here we go again. I'm picking up nails on the nose. Splash! Lots of luck.
Tried to push to Sidewinder or R60
8
range.
o'clock low. Okay, we're about 100 knots above corner speed. 7 o'clock low.
And just let me
8
shoot
o'clock.
him with a Sparrow.
We're at 390.
It's interesting.
5 o'clock low. 350. 320 knots.
I thought he was a Syrian pilot, not a Lebanese, or not Lebanese, Libyan. And turn my Sidewinder cooling off. We'll push back into the reset zone. And we'll see what the next one does. Maybe he'll be a little more aggressive. So I'd like to hear the beeps, bells, and whistles there out of the RWR system for the Tomcat. £13,000 of gas. We were going to use a whole lot grand scheme. Should be able to press at least one more fight.
Thursday friendly, 290, 75 miles, Angel 16.
You okay, Jester? It was like unnecessarily exciting.
There's a friendly 2-ship, Bra, 290, 62 miles, Angel 17.
Push back into the zone here real quick. It's a new guy radar, and it's behind us, so that should be the next one. It's like with other RWR systems, the system really only works accurately in wings level flight as the sensors are strewn about the aircraft. in a particular way, and sometimes when they read energy from extreme top and extreme bottom.
We have a, looks like a Bandit. 110, 67 miles.
It doesn't see it at all. Like, there are blind spots with those sensors, top down, bottom up. So it does not always see things that are directly underneath or nearly directly underneath or above the aircraft. And as one might notice when you're doing some extreme maneuvering and everything else, you'll see the contact drift or bounce around the RWR scope and screen, sometimes registering as on the opposite end of the aircraft when it isn't. And that's just the orientation of the sensors and what kind of radar energy they're receiving, which is how it determines direction. Closure rate is pretty high for him. He's being a little aggressive.
Roger. Got lock. Target, 42 miles. Target, 33 miles.
Come on, buddy.
Target, 24 miles.
Well, he is actually looking at us, and we're receiving his search impulses there, so he might actually want to try and fight.
That's a MiG-23.
There we go. He is tracking us now.
Mike, 12 o'clock, dead ahead. And, nails, 6 o'clock.
Fox 1.
Target, 14 miles.
Yeah, he just shot at us, but he trashed his missile.
Okay, let's do this. Missile launch, 12 o'clock. Hot, break left.
He's still very defensive. Probably trashed our weapon, though. So, Fox 1.
Target, 6 miles.
Keep him on the defensive.
Speed is 530. 12 o'clock low. 560
Got
knots,
him.
man. The Bandit is going down. Speeding at 510.
But yes, otherwise the RWR for the F-14 functions
480.
as one would expect. It will give you direction.
We're at 440.
Will let you know when somebody is looking at you. But it does not tell you necessarily what specifically is looking at you. It only fits it into those general categories of high SAM, mid SAM, low SAM, which refers to the number of the system. You know, generally a SA11, SA10, etc. should classify as a high SAM. Something like a 6 or a 3 should classify as a mid SAM, and something like a 2 should classify as a low. So let's go ahead and reset this a little bit, and we'll get back in the Phantom, since that's what we're mainly advertising for. And we will do some battle against the venerable MiG-21. Kind of in its natural environment. Of course, we'll also be still talking about handoff mode and making use of it, because we should be able to hear the search off the MiG-21 as well. We'll fight for a little bit. I'm going to take a very brief coffee break and then get right back to doing more work with the Phantom, answering any questions that you guys might have. Wait for our textures to load here. I forgot, it starts me with the chocks off. Thankfully, despite it being an Air Force jet, we've got Navy steering.
Engine's good, airspeed off the peg. 80 knots. 100 knots. Oh, I'm showing nails, 11 o'clock. Gears moving. Gear up. Flaps up.
Okay. Jump the back seat very briefly. Twist that handle so Jester can't leave without me. All right, and we are on our way again. Now, another quick note about the RWR system on the F-4. Is that there is some symbology that is important for the jet. And it can help you identify, or at the very least narrow down, the type of radar target that is coming after you. The MiG-shaped icon that you see there on the top of the RWR, I'll zoom in on that here momentarily. A little diamond shape with the wings on the back, that indicates a earlier generation type fighter. So it's going to be your MiG-19s, your 21s, 23s. All of those are going to share that icon. Conversely, the diamond shape looks like a B-2, very loosely, is an airborne early warning aircraft. So that's going to be either the A-50, the E-2 Hawkeye, or the E-3 Sentry, as far as DCS is concerned. And there's an A symbol that indicates an advanced fighter, which is going to be anything newer than a MiG-23, including, you know, Western aircraft and our Eastern counterparts. So we've turned on CW mode, so a continuous wave mode is activated. That starts the tuning process for our Sparrow missiles. In this case, we're carrying Sparrow M's, so they really don't need a whole lot of time before they can be shot off the rail. We have activated the gun, so if I need to quickly toggle to it to try and make a snapshot, we can. We're in C mode for select weapon, which is one of the couple of safe modes there for being able to use any of your air-to-air weapons. And we are in off for weapon delivery. Understandably, ripple quantity selector and ripple distance and time selector is completely irrelevant. And I'm going to go ahead and set the gun to low rate. And let's go ahead and prepare our AVTR. Flip that over to the Meteor track. Plug that back in. Just like the F-14, there is a onboard tape deck player. In this case, we use the flight data recorder there. And its volume setting is controlled by the recorder light's brightness selector. So if you get in here and you click and you drag a little bit, you can change the overall volume of the tape deck when it's in action. And to play it, you'll either tell your weapon system officer or Jester to turn on the AVTR. We'll do when we get a little closer to the fight. Jester's still doing his 50-mile wide search. So check in with AWACS.
Magic 1-1, Colt 1, request bogey dope.
See if we can't find our friend. Oh, I don't believe that there, AWACS. I believe he's flying in a way that you can't see him, but I don't think for a minute that it's actually clean. Yeah, there he is. Jester just did an IFF scan and we've got him in combat tree, so it's that single bar indicating a hostile target. Now, Jester still needs to see like an actual hard radar return before he'll figure out, oh, maybe I can go lock that. But if I had a human backseater, they could be focusing their attention on that area. Maybe do some more frequent IFF check-ins. And see if we can watch that line eventually turn into a pixel that he can see. Try and center it up here. MiG-21 is a very small aircraft. We might not pick him up until about 35-40 miles. Come on, Jester. Co-altitude for us. It's probably crossed 25 miles by now. Almost.
We have a new bogey. Right 5, 24 miles, 14,500.
Now he's got him.
Okay, no IFF, it's a bandit.
So he's going to start following him, and he switches to the narrow mode. We're going to do a long press on the Jester contextual menu.
Bandit, right 5, 21 miles. Okay, good luck.
Let him go for a
Back
minute.
to regular scan.
Have Jester just continue to follow him until we can get to a shorter scale. I really want to make sure that he picks up the bandit and not some kind of false echo. Generally, I will try not to fully capture and hold on and intend to shoot a target until I'm about 20 miles out, which we're fast approaching here. The other thing too is that bandit is apparently not looking directly at us. Yeah, see, Jester lost him because he's turning around. Now he's found him again. So he's either completed his turn or stopped notching the radar. That's him. All right, let's grab him.
Yes, sir.
And he immediately lost him. Thank you.
Locked. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, fire.
These 2 vertical bars indicate maximum range and minimum range. The dot indicates best intercept. And the circle represents the maneuvering limits of the missile. That's looking good. Let's go for it. Fox 1. That's a good track. Kill him, Sparrow.
Nose, 12 o'clock.
Kill him. Splash Bandit.
We've got a bandit, fish bed, 12 o'clock, 2 miles, bandit is going down. All right, scanning the sky again.
A little bit anticlimactic, but we've got up to 4 other targets there to be able to engage. We just have to go reset them real quick. Fly into the zone. It should spawn the next one. And as long as he's actually looking at us, we'll use handoff mode so you can hear those PRF switches. As every radar has a different pitch for searching versus trying to track. Keep track of our tally there. Okay, since we've actually got something looking at us, it's the AWACS in this case, we will swap over to handoff mode, so I'll push the handoff button. And as discussed earlier, we're hearing the PRF sounds from the radar. And we keep losing him. He must be, yeah, he's just about beaming us there on that. But his radar is having a hard time registering that same energy to us. But in handoff mode, it puts a diamond around your target, and it basically feeds the raw interpreted PRF sounds as a pitch that you can hear into the pilot's headset. If you press and hold that button, if we had more than one contact, it would toggle between each one. And in this case, it's an AWACS, so as you were hearing, it had a long, steady tone, and then it got louder for a brief moment, and then went back to that same long, steady tone. That's right about when the radar is actually sweeping over the top of us.
5 o'clock.
In this case, we have a new target, so I'm going to press and hold the handoff button. We'll just swap between the two real quick, because it'll keep swapping. As long as you're holding the button down. This particular sound would be the search of the MiG-21's radar system. And when he changes from search to track, it should increase by about an octave in tone. Generally speaking, higher pitched whines are track radars, and lower pitched ones are either searches or track while scan or something like that. Because, again, it's not going to save you if somebody's looking at you in track while scan. But if they have continuous wave missiles like R-27ER or R-27 or R-24 or Sparrow or anything similar, that's a semi-active radar homing where they have to lock and hold you, it will give you that information. It'll give you the same changes in PRF tone. Should even do it for when a missile goes active against you as well, like an AMRAAM or similar, as it uses the same sort of continuous wave radar for its terminal homing. Go and check in with the AWACS. He's probably still very far away from us.
1-1, Colt 1, request bogey dope.
Yeah, he's 60 miles out, so I'm going to go ahead and turn handoff off. As we were able to see earlier too, we were able to avoid being killed or shot at by the R-24 missile of the flogger we fought earlier. And even though he won that engagement, he at least didn't kill us before we could see him. we had a chance to defend ourselves there. All right, starting to see him there. He's crossing about 40 miles. Only took one Sparrow to drop the last MiG-21. We'll see if we can repeat that here with this one. That'll greatly enhance our staying power in the fight. He's still far enough away that not trying to grab us with his radar to shoot at us. Oh, he's rapidly closing in. Come on, Jester, man. He's like 10 miles away.
Got a new bogey. Right 5-10 miles. 15,000.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Roger.
Come on.
Locked. 1 potato, 2
Box
potato,
1.
3 potato, 4 potato, fire.
That looks very dead. Fox 1.
We've got a bandit. Fish bed. 12 o'clock. 2 miles.
Okay, lights on. Fox 2.
Are you kidding me? I lost the lock. All right, returning to standard scan.
Just to return him into Funfetti, man.
Bandit is going down.
He's going to end up in somebody's apple orchard as spare parts.
Returning to regular scan.
Okay. Come left, we'll push back out. It would appear we've just gotten through our external tanks for fuel. Got one more Sparrow and 3 Sidewinders on board. Put the autopilot on for a moment. Right, I was going to turn the music on. And do that for the next engagement. Ease off the power there a little bit and do about 3,000 pounds of gas per hour per side. Probably closer to 3.5. In all fairness, the way that gauge is set. Gives me a moment to enjoy more of my coffee. Back up to our combat altitude here. Just about in the zone. And as we get turned back around, take a brief moment to make a second cup of coffee. We are flying to meet the next engagement. Unknown out there, it's probably a ship radar. Given the presence of the Navy.
Heads up, nails, 6 o'clock.
Dogfighting wise, she does do most of her best work above 350 knots. So try and keep that in mind with the F-4 is that you really don't want to be caught low and slow. Alright, we'll be off microphone just briefly while I make another cup of coffee as we're cruising back towards the target, so I'll be right back. There are certain advantages to having the coffee machine in the office with me near the desk. Alright, let's get ourselves resituated, turn the head tracking back on, reset the head tracking as we are getting closer to our target. Our last Sparrow is selected. And he is about 25 miles out. Come on, Jester. Find that little tea leaf that is the MiG-21.
Heads up, new bogey. Left 5, 11 miles. Copy. Locked. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, fire.
Fox 1.
We have a bandit. Fish bed. 12 o'clock. 4 miles. He broke it. I lost the lock. Back to standard scan.
Yeah, it did not break that lock, Jester. Thank goodness, too.
Bandit is going down. Okay, back to normal scan.
That's kill number 3. Alright, let's go and turn on some music here. Be under the system's other AVTR recorder and record.
Copy that.
That Meteor soundtrack is really, really incredible. And it's such a good job with this one and the F-14s. Alright, we are going to need to cruise back to the tanker, so let's go ahead and start looking for its TACAN 17 Yankee. I'm 96 miles away. And our tanker should be on. Yeah, 252. Let's go and change our radio. Three Sidewinders and 610 in the gun, with 2 more aircraft available in this set. But at this point, we just need some gas. I will also say that these MiG-21s we've been fighting, they are set at the default veteran level for their AI difficulty, and they are armed with some missiles. I've tried to avoid using the R3R as a radar-guided missile for them, as that has some unusual flight properties that we've seen out of it through using it in other missions. It also tends to retain missile lock more like how a Fox 3 would behave, and that's just not right on a on an R3R on a missile that early. Russian R3R missile is very close to an AIM-9C radar-guided Sidewinder, which was an exclusive weapon used on the F-8 Crusader. The AIM-9C was eventually used to develop the AGM-122 sidearm anti-radiation missile, as they converted stockpiles of the weapon over to sidearm for use on the Harrier and certain helicopters as an anti-radiation weapon. But the MiG-21's radar does not have an ability to sort ground clutter similar to like the F-5 or even the F-4. And that missile has some unusual properties when look down, shoot down at low altitude. So rather than use that, we gave them some R3S's, which are the infrared AIM-9B versions, and some Beam Rider early model air-to-air missiles for the radar weapons. So while their weapons are, somewhat inferior, it's still a good press for the dogfight, and it does allow me to similarly use AIM-9Bs, AIM-9Js, Sparrow E1s as practice for getting more familiar with those systems for using those weapons in historical mission contexts.
I have a new bogey, right 5 degrees, 40 miles, 14,500. Target paints, it's a buddy.
37 miles, let's go ahead and actually radio Mr. Tanker.
Texaco 1-1, Colt 1, request rejoin.
He's at 17,000 feet and 300 knots indicated airspeed. We've passed through the respawn zone for the enemy aircraft. So by the time we are done tanking, that MiG-21 will be somewhere in his patrol zone here in the middle of that search area. Safer weapons.
All right, got a contact. Left 45 degrees, 43 miles, 20,500.
It's going to be the AWACS adjuster.
IFF checks out. Target paints.
It's probably my favorite track in the Meteor soundtrack.
See at contact. Left 40 degrees, 35 miles, 17,500.
It's a little dramatic for what we're doing, though, so let's go ahead and stand by the
Positive IFF.
playback,
You got it.
which will pause the tape. There is our tanker, and let's go crew contract. Chester talking. And quiet him down. How's the fuel, the man says. I'm 13 miles away from a tanker, Jester. When I'm flying towards, I turn the lights on, I've called him, I let him know I'm on my way. Tanker must be, like, honest to God, flying straight away from us. And he is. Okay, now he's doing 300. We're still catching up to him, but are slowing down. been half a mile, he's turned his lights on. Fueling doors open.
Ready for contact. Clear contact.
Adjust my field of view just a little bit here so we can see those lights a little easier.
Contact. Return free contact. Ready for contact. Return free contact.
That was potentially very bad, so let's just go ahead and reset.
Ready for contact.
Okay, we're still under the original clear contact call. Got our lights.
Contact. You're taking fuel. Contact. Return free contact. Ready for contact.
Should probably change his speed just a little bit. It's a little more comfortable to refuel with.
Contact. You're taking fuel. Ready for contact. Contact. Return free contact. Ready for contact.
Hello, Boom. It's a little far aft. Altitude's right. Slowly nudge it forward.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Just play with the throttles. Try and keep position best we can. We're up 7,000 pounds. And we fell off of it.
Ready, recontact. Contact. You're taking fuel. Ready, recontact. Contact. You're taking fuel. Ready, recontact.
Every time it disengages, you do have to reset the fuel door, which is why I'm tapping the button there for it.
You're taking fuel.
Otherwise, he'll stick you and then go, oh cool, you got back pressure, transfer complete.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
We're just barely leaving the good parameters there, apparently. So we reached the very slow phase of refueling the tanks.
Ready, recontact.
Up about 9,000 pounds. Sure feels very quickly up to about 9,500 pounds. But once you get to refueling those last fuel cells, it slows down dramatically, even with the boom and receptacle.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
It's 10,000 pounds.
Ready, recontact. Contact. Return free contact.
All right, I think we're good there for now.
Abort rejoin.
Got 10,000 pounds. Got missiles on board the jet, and we got fighters to kill. So let's go ahead and get back into the engagement zone. We will continue forward. Actually take us far north. Oh, good lord. Yeah. Got a ways to go. But we have the power of time compression. So we'll do that and have a sip of coffee. Reconfigure for potentially getting into a fight. And back to time compression. Resume listening to AWACS. Feet dry again as we get to Hatay. And that's enough. We'll go back to normal time. There's our bad guy. $60 miles. Imagine the next IFF sweep from Jester will probably pick him up. And there he is. We're out of Sparrows, so it's going to be a Sidewinder and gunfight.
Magic 1-1. Colt 1. Request picture.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Okay, we're cruising towards one another.
We have a new bogey. Right 10 degrees, 21 miles, 14,500. Negative IFF.
Yeah, these bags aren't doing us any favors. So off they go.
Okay.
There he is. I gotta zoom in that much to get him to appear. There we go, that's better.
Wilco. Locked bandit. We have a bandit. Fish bed. 12 o'clock. 5 miles. Lost it. Lost the lock. Back to standard scan pattern. Okay.
No, he's on the defensive.
We got our 1 o'clock. $10 o'clock now.
It's looking good, it's looking good. Stay with him, get into a good position.
Get ahead, man.
Box 2.
The bandit is going down. Target lost. Back to standard scan pattern.
Okay, that's number 4. Go reset, kill number 5, and call it an afternoon. Or morning, rather.
Returning to regular scan.
So I got 2 sidewinders and the gun on board. $8,500 pounds of gas. We're in good shape. As I mentioned on Monday when we built this map, this is really kind of helping simulate the cap experience or any of the missions and things that we do for Pantheon, which I've got one that I've been working on. Hopefully that'll be fun and engaging and test the boys' skills. Sometimes you got to press out and go make the fight happen. Other times you're kind of sitting and waiting, and still other times you're just burning holes in the sky trying to save your gas so that you can spend it in the fight. So in this case, by having a single ship engagement, deal with the fight, have to come back and reset it before the next one will spawn. That puts us in a position where we have to make the choice, while we're far enough away to do so, to go ahead and come off station, hit the tanker, and get ready for a new fight. In this case, I got plenty of gas, so we're okay there. Very easy with the afterburner. For those who didn't know, for the F4, it's been out for a while, again, you got your volume control for the AVTR here. By adjusting the brightness of the recorder lamp, you can bring that volume up or down so it's not oppressive. You can actually hear your backseater. The ATV recorder itself does need you to push the eject button
Heads up, nails, 5 o'clock.
while the system's off, and then flip the recorder tape around to the Meteor soundtrack, and then tell Jester to record and he'll play it. Otherwise, you can use it to get gun camera footage. That will save in a different directory in your save games folder. Okay, toggled handoff mode. He's in his search pattern. He's got a tiny radar and he is way far away. I will take the time to show that first fight in attack view as well, where we were absolutely using the handoff mode against a MiG-23, as otherwise the MiG-23 does not alert the RWR in normal mode that you've been fired upon. It might give you a brief new guy pulse at the upper pulse frequency, but handoff is really going to be where you're going to notice it, because you'll hear the lower pitched search transition to the higher pitched track and shoot. And that is your cue to defend yourself against the R-24. It's not the best medium-range missile, but if you don't respond to it quickly when it comes off the rail, there's good odds it will still manage to find you. So it's also the thing to keep in mind too when you're watching either myself or any of the other folks that are out there either putting together videos for this or talking to you in your various online communities, is when they say things like, no, this or that is a bad missile or a garbage missile or what have you. Any missile fired within its good parameters is dangerous. An AIM-9B that is fired close in, low G load, rear aspect of the target, stands a good chance of honest to God hitting it if the target does nothing to defend themselves from it. And we're stepping down from 50 miles. Jester's occasionally working the combat tree there to identify our MiG-21. What handoff does is, I'm going to toggle it on here for a minute. Like right now, the RWR is just doing its thing. But when I toggle handoff mode on, what it's doing is it is fixating on the target that's in the diamond, and you are listening to the raw pulse repeating frequency of the radar for whatever that emitter is. So like right now, this MiG-21 is in a search mode because it's the same low-pitched hum that we've been listening to pretty much the whole time. When he actually goes to shoot a radar-guided missile, the radar, when it locks onto you, operates at a different frequency. So you hear a change in tone when it locks you up. Now in this case, the MiG-21 would actually alert the F-4's RWR normally to let you know, hey, he's tracking, you get ready to shoot. But other systems like MiG-23 or like SA-5 or SA-11 and some of the others, they're too new for the RWR system. So it does not know to go, oh hey, this is a track and launch radar. I'm going to go ahead and alert the RWR system to go, hey, he's shot at you, dummy, do something about it.
We have a new bogey. Right 5.
But if you're listening to the raw PRF data,
no IFF. He's a bandit.
yeah, he's head on. Who's gonna blink first? He is. All right, we got one missile left.
You got this. Shoot him.
You're not going to get a launch warning, but what you'll get is a change in PRF when it actually goes from search to shoot. Because an SA-5 system still takes about 45 seconds to transfer that information to the missile and shoot you with it. But that is how you would know that he is at least preparing to fire, and you can take steps accordingly at longer range.
He's at our 12 o'clock.
Come here, buddy.
Keep it up. We're on a 6.
Yep, I just don't want him pointing at the sun. That's looking better. That's looking better. G-load's still a little high, though. Let's wait for him to straighten out.
Get him. He's right in front of us. Flash. Bandit is down.
Okay. That is ace in a day. All right, so let me actually demonstrate this PRF thing here real quick for you, since you're here watching. I'm going to go ahead and reset the mission, and we'll spawn a MiG-23 first. Yeah, the biggest thing with the SAM sites is doing a little bit of research in what's known as the lock-to-launch time. That's going to be your stopwatch in terms of like, okay, cool, I just heard the PRF change. It's going to take about this long for the SA2 site or the SA3 site or whatever to go, here, have this, and send a missile your way. SA5 is so long range that the fact that it takes 45 full seconds for it to go, I think I'm going to shoot at you now, is less of a problem for it. But if you're hearing that, you know, high tone of it looking at you and getting ready to shoot, you can at least start counting and then go, all right, cool, about 45 seconds. I'm going to dive down behind this hill, break the lock, and reset his timer. Which means he has to start that whole process over, all 45 seconds worth, from scratch. Yeah, seed is a fun time. Older systems have very long lock-to-launch times. Like SA2 is about 30 to 35 seconds. SA5 is like 45. SA11 and 15 though is measured in single-digit seconds, so that will shoot at you very quickly once it actually starts looking at you.
Hey, we gonna be down in waterfowl territory in this flight?
No, Jester, we're doing things for science, buddy. In fact, let me twist that handle for me, so when you decide to leave the aircraft, you'll take me with you.
Engine's good. Airspeed's coming alive. 80 knots.
So our MiG-23's
100.
MiG-23 sequence is up. We'll go ahead and do fun with handoff again.
Heads up, I've got nails, 11 o'clock. Gears moving. Flaps up.
All of our systems ready to fight.
Gear up.
These are misfiles I've made. Usually for Pilum Teaches Saturday, I put a mission together or use one that I know has got things on it that will let me teach these things and show them off. This one too also lets me get in and fight a bunch of aircraft at once, either by myself or with the rest of Fenrir Flight, and practice up against those kinds of targets. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get up to combat altitude here. About 15,000 feet. This is where I've got these engagements set to start. Once you really start getting into it, yeah, it's you can do a lot for setting things up. Like I've got just a handful of triggers and things that go, hey, when I push the F10 buttons here, spawn this aircraft. And then basically the next trigger associated with it is if the aircraft is dead and a blue aircraft is in this blue square, then go ahead and spawn the next aircraft. And just do that over and over until all 5 aircraft are exhausted. I think when I built that one last Monday, it took me maybe an hour, hour and a half total, while I was also talking through it while putting it all together. Alright, so we are airborne, and we are on our way. And let's check in with the AWACS.
Magic 1-1, Colt 1, request bogey dope.
There's our new guy, Chirp. I beg to differ, AWACS, but, you know, whatever, you do you. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn handoff mode on. Slightly different pitch than the MiG-21, but this is the MiG-23 search pitch, as we are still way on the other end of the circle from him. Like, he's out here like 100 miles. If you press and hold handoff, it will toggle between all of the other threats your RWR is currently looking at until you let go of it. So, like, if I wanted to, for whatever reason, track the AWACS, we're tracking the AWACS. Now, what you'll note is that as it's searching around, there's a brief period of time where the radar pitch increases in volume. That is the exact moment that the radome on the E3 passes over our aircraft. So in between seeing the little B-2 bomber type symbol there, representing an early warning aircraft, and listening to that search pulse there for it, we know that that is potentially a problem if it's a bad guy, but, you know, that's our AWACS, so it's less of a concern. Press and hold handoff again. We're going to switch to the MiG-23. Each aircraft type has its own set of pitch frequencies that are associated with it. So, you know, once you get used to hearing them, which, you know, is a little bit of experience and experimentation, you can start picking out a lot of the different aircraft just by the pulse frequency alone. And the other thing, too, is when you get the new guy beep, like when it first picks up a contact and it goes chirp, 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 it chirps at the PRF frequency of the search radar. So if we were to suddenly get lit up by like an F-14, it'd be like a high-pitched, almost squeak-like chirp. MiG-29 is kind of similar. But you'll start recognizing like what the different pulse frequency pitches are the more you fly the aircraft. And then if you were to go to handoff mode for it and highlight the target, you'll get the long continuous tone. And in this case, I am just going to go ahead and follow him for a little bit, so I apologize for the, you know, droning sound effect that we got going on. But when we get down to about 20 miles or so away from the target, he should switch to a different frequency, and that's the moment he sent an R-24 off the rail. And when we're done here, we can check that in TAC view and see those things happen. I simultaneously love that they've modeled this, and in some ways it's a little annoying, because other RWR systems are just, you know, classy and standard for the newer model stuff, where it's like, nope, that's a search pulse, nope, he shot at you, nope, yeah. Does it for all the aircraft. In this case, it doesn't do it for all of them. And he has stopped looking at us. Oh, buddy, don't let me take the first shot.
Not getting an IFF response. It's a hostile.
He stopped pointing his nose at me, so I no longer have his radar searching at me. Have Jester keep following him here for a minute. We might lose him as he notches the radar for the F4. Yep, there's the new guy beep for the AWACS. Well, well under 25 miles now. If this flogger turns around and points his nose at me, we might have a very quick set of issues. That's the AWACS. Okay. Maybe the second flogger will give me the sweet tweet tone change. But if he's going to let me shoot him,
Right, 515 miles.
that's his problem.
Good luck.
Yeah, he's cold to me at the moment. Or at the very least a beam. Come on, buddy. Turn and look at me so I can show Scuzzy the RF tone. God knows you shot at me earlier for it. I'm gonna fly the intercept dot. This is gonna put him, very unfortunately, almost in the frame of the canopy glass. Where was this earlier? Where was this earlier when he was looking at me? This man just drilled in and shot me twice the first time I pulled him up earlier today. Now he's just gonna let me come up here and shoot at him. We're in range.
We have a bandit, flogger, 12 o'clock, 5 miles.
Okay, buddy. Your funeral. Fox 1. Oh, that sparrow went dumb.
You're kidding me? I lost the lock. Returning to regular scan. One o'clock high, 1 o'clock high.
See if we can get him with auto acquire. Oh, you were just toying with me.
Keep coming. He's on our nose.
Practically reach out and gun him.
Oh, splash! Bandit is going down.
Appreciate the follow there, Napalm Overkill. Alright, let's reset it and see if the second bandit will actually give me the PRF tones we're looking for. Fly up here to my square, that'll trigger that other trigger, which will spawn the next jet in the sequence.
Okay, back to normal scan.
I mean, he was fighting, like he was maneuvering as hard as he could. He just started the engagement at extreme disadvantage.
I can't do that. I'll continue with the standard scan pattern.
But you're right, every once in a while I get somebody that'll just, you know, decide he wants to roll over and go belly up, and then other spawns I'll get Rambo. And we got 2 Sparrows and 2 Sidewinders left? Yeah, 3 Sidewinders left. And about 7,000 pounds of gas. Yeah, I use handoff so often now with the F-4 that I've actually bound it to a button on the HOTAS. I can just tap the thing instead of having to look over at the RWR panel every time and activate it. Alright, we got an ad coming up here, but we're going to reset him and then turn back around. And then by the time that is all sorted and finished and everybody's back, we should be just about ready to hear that tone as long as he actually comes to fight me. I use the VKB Gladiator, and I actually have it bound to the center hat right side toggle. So I use the down for jettison stores, up for engage bore sight mode on the radar, and I think left is, yeah, it's my night vision. I'm gonna toggle those things on and off real quick. There's our new guy, Beep.
Heads up, nails 5 o'clock.
Hands down, one of my best recommended purchases to pick up as a replacement for the X56 that I broke, which I'd used for a very long time. Yes, we are back in handoff mode. The diamond is around our currently listened to target. We're hearing that raw search data from his radar. Got a little bit of distance to cover, but not a whole lot. Guy Beat from the AWACS behind us. And he's still 50 miles away, so we got another minute or so before he's close. Okay, welcome back, folks. For those who got stuck in the ad break. Closing distance with that MiG-23. He seems to be actually interested in a fight this time. Approaching 25 miles. Chester just did an IFF scan and we got a single bar indicating hostile contact. Thank you, Combat Tree. "25 miles. I'm expecting him to shift tones just about any time. That's the tone. He's fired.
New bogey, right 512 miles, 15,000. Getting no IFF response, target is a bandit.
You see he shifted radar tones again as we got into a bad position for him to lock onto us. See if we can draw out his... There's that tone shift again. That is his track tone. And you spoil his second shot. And he is now out of yardsticks with which to throw at us. Trying to see if I can see his missile trail back there. See if we can take the fight to him. Ooh, maybe he didn't shoot. Maybe I was too quick. There's a shot. No thank you, Mr. Flugger. Yes, the RWR's front and back seat are tied together. So whatever, like if you have a human backseater doing the work, and they are in handoff mode and they're operating that, the front seater will hear the same tone as it will operate both RWRs together.
Twelve o'clock now.
Very hands-on seat. Come on, buddy. Please hold this sparrow. You bastard.
Bandit is down.
Whoop. Whoop. There we go.
Okay, sanitizing the sky again.
Yeah, with just 3,000 pounds left, we're going to gain some altitude and cruise for home. as we've put up 7 aerial victories today in the Phantom. Yeah, let me put that in handoff mode and then jump in the back seat. Oh, I don't have the same key bound here, that's right. We keep losing the AWACS there, so that's why it's not holding on to it between chairs. But handoff mode, both seats get it at the same time. The F-4 is one of the most visceral aircraft for DCS for sure. I think the Tomcat A is kind of in the same boat. Both Heatler products on purpose there, probably. She shakes, she rattles, she screams at you. Almost had a couple of compressor stalls today in her dogfighting. Climb up to about 25,000 feet here. Put the autopilot's on and then reduce power a little bit. £2,400. Going back to Incirlik, 63 miles. We got plenty of gas. We should be fine. I had hit the
fuel state?
Just said it was fine, Jester. Were you not listening?
Heads up, nails 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, for sure. Having that that kind of feeling and feedback on it is very helpful. There's a new Mr. Flogger, but he's going to rapidly not be our problem as we escape his search zone. The triggers for the mission editor end of it, just so that you're kind of thinking about things there, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. This combat search radius, I have a search and engage in zone en route command associated with the aircraft that overlaps the circle. So as long as you are inside the circle, the enemy aircraft will try and hunt you down. It will actively look for you and try and get into the fight. But once you leave the circle, so long as they're not currently actively engaged, because I have seen
a new bogey. Left 37 miles, 13,000.
I have seen that behavior out of the AI before, where even if you are outside of a search and engage in zone, if they've already committed to you and are within dogfight range, they tend to chase you a little bit outside the circle before they give up and go back. Go back to their barcap station. But for our purposes there, if I really wanted to go fight another 3 or 4 aircraft, I could turn around and go deal with him, or I could go, go hit the tanker and then go back and try and deal with him. But in this case, we're already 2.5 hours in on today's teaching lesson, utilizing that handoff mode. It's getting a little close to lunchtime for me, so I think that's going to be a good time for us to cruise on home. Put the wheels down, do a quick review in TAC view. See how we did. I haven't, but I think if I can polish it up just a little bit further, I can probably post it on like the user files there in DCS. some of the things I'd like to do is come down to Incirlik and like put in a couple of guys in a truck, like they're there to collect your drogue chute and maybe some, you know, arm and de-arm things, and you know, a little bit of polish, make it look crisper as compared to just kind of here, and any gaps kind of covered by just the, oh right, no, I know that I need to do this, that, or the other. I did at least put together the whole briefing page, but and do some knee boards and things to it, really make it fancy, and then post it. Might actually give me something to do this week. Sometimes I do have these missions running on the Pantheon Initiative servers, so I can grab one of our public servers and post this one to it and just have it run. In fact, I'll do that with this very mission as in its current form. As soon as we're done streaming today, I'll post it on the general Pantheon server that's unpassworded and open to the public. There's usually 4 that are up, 2 that are open, and 2 that are password protected for various events and things. Alright, 30 miles to home. And runway 23 should be the active, so 111.70 our VOR. Should be Pilum's air-to-air training yard. Will be the name of the mission file. So when you see that one up on the general server there, that should be good to go. And it's got to log into the remote server and upload it real quick, which only takes a moment. All right, let's go ahead and take ourselves out of autopilot and set that. Bring our chair up so we can look down our own nose. Verify that we are in fact cool. Strip is everything there. Begin our descent. Down to 1,800 pounds. We're going to be a little floaty coming into land. And why not? We're here. Let's go ahead and contact ATC on 360.1.
Colt 1, inbound.
And since you'll be flying on it later, if you need tanker frequencies, TACANs, all that, you can click on the individual group names. I have named the group, what they are in the menu, what their radio is, and what their TACAN is. Anytime. Any Saturday I'm not working the day job, I'm here doing this for you. And I try as much as I can anyway to post VODs here to the Twitch channel on those days when I'm going to be at work, as it overlaps with my teaching time. Somewhere out in the Dust Bowl, there's the runway, it's right here to our left. Somewhere out in that Dust Bowl is where we need to go. There for visual, they say. It's amazing.
All right, gear, flaps, pressure, warning lights, and anti-skid.
Colt 1, request landing.
$1,000.
If you like a good Cold War adventure, the State Scarlet mission that I have up there as well, that I put together, is a lot of potential SA5s, some SA6s. We've got some rethreading to do on that mission as well, especially as I've gotten a lot better at lofting SA6s to actually kill targets. Or lofting SA6s. Lofting Shrikes to kill SA6s. Those are words.
$300. $100.
Oh, you're so floaty. Rogue chute deployed. Okay, go and turn that off. Activate our air conditioning system. Certainly one of the only drawbacks of the F-4 is the air conditioning system doesn't really blow very hard. Still dragging our drogue with us. Cross the active. Wave at the imaginary drogue people. And we'll leave them our parachute. Want to pull the gear handle up, let's grab the flaps.
Yes, sir. Wheel chocks in. Roger. Done.
All right, we're home. Let's go take a quick look at TechView and get everything all uploaded to the server to do the things. Folks can play with that. I think we reset that a couple of times there, so it should be this file. And here we go. Nope, that was the right one. That was the second trip. And there we go, Pilum to air yard. So this was the very first one that we did at the very start of our stream here this morning. Cruising towards our target. This is a MiG-23, 70 some miles away. As we get closer here, we are listening to his PRF. And the moment that we hear that one change, actually, so when you hear that tone shift, I turned as immediately as I heard it, and as soon as my brain registered, hey dummy, you heard something, activate your hands and do things. So I rolled over and got away from it just like we did the first time. Trashed that missile thoroughly. And as I heard his tone shift again, I began to climb and kind of roll back to him to try and bait out his second shot. Which again, as soon as I heard the PRF shift into that high tone, I got away from him. He's down to R60s now. Which I threw off his first one. But he did manage to get a good shot right into the spine of the aircraft. And while I was not dead, I was no longer really able to fight, so I just tried to run with whatever gas we had left. And then right about there, we ran out of gas. And as soon as he pulled the trigger on me, I got out of the aircraft, and that was it. We did also spend a little bit of time in the Tomcat, specifically the early variant Tomcat A, mostly looking at its ALR-45 RWR system. And of course, this guy, the very first time came up, he gave us the first shot too, so it really didn't show that one off. Did throw a 24R at us, but he was already toast and pointing at the ground, so he trashed it immediately. This one, though, I fired first. He shot right afterwards. The ALR-45 starts going bonkers. Pointing a single line out there. The biggest thing with that, because the only difference between the early variant F-14A and the late variant F-14A is the RWR system. It is a functionally identical aircraft for everything else between the two. So, you know, again, while I do applaud Heapler for living up to the promise and giving me 2 aircraft for free, you know, on that early variant, I really would have liked to have seen the F-14A-45 with a far more simpler set of systems and everything else, very similar to the Iranian Tomcats that they got that are very early marks. But, you know, that said, the older RWR system is interesting to look with. The biggest things with it is that it really only shows you categories. Like, it'll show you AAA, it'll show you airborne intercept, But when it comes to the SAMs, it only tells you high SAM, mid SAM, low SAM, and that is what numbered SAM system that it is. It doesn't give you a lot of the specifics on it. You kind of have to guess between what the ranges are. And the ALR45 also doesn't display like an icon to say like, hey, there's an SA2 site over here. It just draws a line on its little display to go, there's a radar emitting from here, and the strength of the signal is the brightness of the line. It's an interesting system to work with. We'll be doing some, VODs and streaming on using that system a lot more in depth. But let's go ahead and get over to our last flight there, since folks were on and chatty for that. Yeah, this was the MiG-23 one that we did. So you can actually see this one happen in real time. Skipping ahead, this guy was cold to us, and because he does not have a red AWACS to tell him that there's an F-4 that's chasing him down and looking to throw missiles at him like he owes me money, he's just kind of cruising away until I shoot at him, and it alerts his little SPO system that's on board the jet that he's been fired at. But he gave me the first shot. Play this through in real time. Loaded that aircraft up to 10 Gs. That's how you know how you're having a good time in a Phantom. I got rid of my my bags there because they were doing me no favors against the MiG-23. MiG-21, I could hang with them with the wing bags on. But MiG-23, not so much. He starts belching out flares as he's worried that I'm getting ready to shoot him with a Sidewinder, and to be fair, I kind of was. Bump the time scale up here just a little bit. Getting the nose back around him, trying to lock onto him with the auto acquisition radar. Which can be very hit or miss, especially when you're pointing at the ground, because that thing will absolutely... There we go, we killed him with a Sidewinder. But auto acquisition mode in the Phantom in particular, because it doesn't have, in this particular variant of Phantom, a filter to sort out ground returns versus actual aircraft returns. Sometimes you'll catch things in the various lobes of the radar, which if you've watched any of the videos about how Heapler modeled the F-4's radar and understand the different nuances between a main lobe and side lobes on the radar, there's really kind of IHORT level advanced radar theory on that one. If it catches a ground return, it can lock onto it in the auto acquire mode and go, yep, no, that's bright enough, that must be an aircraft, and it really isn't. So you do kind of have to pay attention very closely to when it auto acquires. Is it actually your target? Is it bouncing around like your target is doing, or is it doing something entirely different, whether it's staying still or sharply off to one side or whatever else? Because that's probably a false echo rather than a proper target. All right, here's round two. This one he actually shot at us, so we know that the PRF changed tones. And we'll see if he shot two missiles at us back-to-back, similar to that earlier engagement that we just saw, or if I was a little too quick on one of the maneuvers and he saved a missile to throw at us later on. Get my cursor out of the way here. Take a sip of some coffee. Step up a little bit here. We are yep, there it is. Okay, so I actually snapped the aircraft down when he first captured me, prior to him actually shooting. Again, what you're noticing with the PRF is when he switches over from a search mode for his radar to a track mode. So it's not a true indicator of he just pulled the trigger on you, but you can be pretty confident that if he just captured you with the track, he's probably shooting at you within the next second or so. So we trashed his first missile, and now we just trashed his second one. So he is out of radar-guided long-range missiles. We baited both of those out of him. I shot at him, which hopefully stopped him from shooting at me. And then we came around and we knocked him down. Got an ad that's about ready to start here in about 50 seconds or so, but that's probably going to be it here for us. So let me go ahead and flip things over to the end credits before I go and set up the server with all of the relevant mission stuff. I appreciate everybody coming out to watch. Appreciate all the likes, follows, subscribes. They really do keep the channel moving and doing the things. Always ask for consent. Try to communicate as best you can with your partners. Try to be genuinely decent human beings. We should be on schedule to play again on Monday, which should be a good time. Friday should be ARMA. Next Saturday, I should still be off, so we should still be good to go for more time with the F-4, which should be a good time. And a very special thank you to Thunderbolt9987, who's been watching for a long time and has only recently been able to get back into DCS. But they took the time to tell me about their experience here watching me this last year, so thank you for that. Have a great day, folks. I will catch up with you later on, and we will see you at some point in the future. Fly stronger. Have a great day.